Hey guys, welcome back to Just Fixing Garage. I'm Justin. If you look behind me, as I promised, I have a lot more videos for my car coming. This is a 2014 Dodge Charger RT. I bought it brand new 8 years ago, and it's time for me to do a lot of maintenance. I've done the pads and rotors recently. I have done the latch to fix the remote start, and now I am dealing with fixing a window motor. So if you look around my car, you can see that I added these like visors for the windows. And I did this a few months ago, and I was like, oh, cool. You know, I started going around the car, putting them on, and everything was good. You know, they popped right in. They're the in-channel ones. But when I came to my rear left window, I went to roll it down, and I got nothing. It did not come down, so I've been sitting, let's see, I've been sitting with this part in here for several months now, and I'd like to get it on there. So I'm going to show you how we're going to take this door panel off. I'm going to replace just the motor, and I'll show you how I test it to make sure it's just the motor and not the regulator, okay? So there's two different things on these window motors. There's a motor, they make the window go up and down. That's the actual electronical part, and there's the regulator. The regulator is not electronic. It is strictly like plastic and metal, and it's like the channel that goes up and down. So I don't believe that's my issue. I believe it's the motor, and that's what I bought. So I'm going to dive in and show you how it's done. So let's get started. I think we got a visitor. Mooney, where are you going, Moon? What are you doing? Mooney? Mooney? Come here. Come on. All right, fine, don't. All right, so we're gonna get into our window motor here. Again, it's the rear left. I'm gonna try to stay out of the way of the camera. I got a little tripod set up now, so hopefully you guys can see. I know there's gonna be two spots that we have to get out of our way. And it's gonna be behind here. You're going to need to go in here and pop this piece out, preferably with something plastic, or just be very ginger about it so you don't scratch anything up. And then underneath of here, this one's a little easier. So inside the actual door handle, there's going to be a piece we're going to have to pull out, and that is going to expose a Phillips head screwdriver. So I'm going to loosen that. Hopefully this is all we have to worry about. This tint's been holding up good.
You had that done in the shop, right?
Yep, iconic tinting in Joppa.
Nice.
Yeah, they did a good job. I heard they're not that good anymore, but...
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. Now, this was 8 years. I mean, I literally did it as soon as I bought the car.
Oh, a long time ago then.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Goddamn.
All right, so I'm going to try to get this one out. It doesn't seem like it wants to come as easy. Oh, there we go. You can be more ginger about it, but I am not going to fight too much. Again, that's a Phillips head screwdriver behind here. So you've got behind the door handle and behind where you grab, there's plastic cover clips that you're going to have to take off so you can get to a Phillips head screwdriver. Phillips head screw. All right. All right. Oop. Let's get that out of the way. Now, I don't think that the switch has to come out. I'm going to look around it just to see if I can pop it out. Sometimes there's a screw underneath the switches. I don't know if that's the case here. Doesn't look like it is. I am going to pop the switch off though, which was just prying, just so I don't mess it up. All right, so now that I've got that off, let me back you up some. So I've got two screws out so far. Mooney, what are we doing? I took out the two plastic covers that were here for the door grab and the handle. Took the Phillips head screwdrivers out, Phillips head screws out, and I have a, okay, you gave that to me, didn't you, the plastic kit?
Yes.
I have a plastic like door trim kit that I like to use. I bought it on Amazon a while ago, and it just has a lot of plastic tools that you can use to get in here. So what I'm gonna do now is try to separate the bottom with like some kind of plastic pry tool to get in there and kind of work my way around until I start hearing some popping. It's a scary sound when you hear the popping, but you just gotta work your way around until everything comes out.
If you got to do a door window motor or anything like that, that set right there will really help you out in the long run.
Oh yeah, even speakers. So, there we go. Gonna work our way up. Let's see what it looks like up here. Try to keep you guys in the action. Can you see everything?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So let's see. So after we get to the top, it's going to be more of a a pulling up motion because you have to get it over top of the
Door lock.
And now that it's here, I am going to just, Kevin, you want to bring it around back? Make sure you can see everything. So I'm going to go through and just try to unclip some of this stuff. Or not, I guess I could. What can I unclip that's going to make things easier for me? Maybe just the light. Hold on. All right, guys, so as soon as you can pull this up and get it out, you'll notice there's a few things in our way. I don't want to take everything off because that's going to overcomplicate things. What I will do is remove a couple things to give me some slack. One thing is going to be this light down here. I'm going to use a pick tool to get in there and pop this out because the wiring is really tight there. And let's see. I honestly would love to just leave that there. What else do I got in here? More lights. So I have another light here. See, I'm more worried about this stuff breaking. So I don't really want to take that one out if I can avoid it, but perhaps I can give myself some slack. Yeah, let me pull it out of here and give some slack. And then I guess for the top, it looks like I'm gonna have to take everything off. It's fine. So if you see my little pick here, I'm gonna push here and be able to pull that out. For the door latch, this is better with pliers, but you can use this just the same. Or maybe not, maybe pliers would be best.
I'm gonna get you some.
Yep.
Oh,
okay, so that came out. Actually, Kevin, that's fine.
sure.
Yep. All right, guys, so I took out a few things. The only thing I haven't gotten is this out. I kind of don't really want to take it out because this could just hang here because I don't have to do that much. So I'm probably gonna just leave this together. I know I can pop it off. Actually, I guess I should. So as you guys, if anybody has to do this part, they're probably gonna need it. So Kevin, why don't you go grab me a pair of needle nose. I'll take this part off, get everything out of the way so that you guys can see everything a little more. Now keep in mind, I'm only replacing this, the motor. I don't have to pull this entire assembly out. And I have done that before on an Avenger and another vehicle. This is not fun. It adds an hour to the job. But yeah, let's see. All right, so let's start with pushing these together and walking it back. Give yourself some slack. Okay. Now once that's done, you're going to line it up and then pull it out. Okay. So when you want to put it back on, you're going to have to line almost like a hammer up into the line. Do that, and then you're going to pull it and pop it back in. All right. Very simple. Almost all cars are like this. I've had some where there's an arm that comes up and clips to this. But there, we've got everything out. We took out a couple wires, some lights. We've got our entire door panel off. Now we'll set that to the side. All right. So guys, hopefully you're following along. I didn't want to take everything off, but sometimes it works out that way. Now we need to get to this part here, which is funny. It just looks like it's been wet in here before or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's odd. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. So I need to replace just this part. It looks like it's going to be a star bit. So let me go look those up. I'll come back to you, show you the new part, and we'll get to it. All right, guys. So taking the door off, we've got it all ready. I guess this is where maybe a tweeter would be if I had one. I guess
cool.
I should have put one in. I don't know. There's no speakers in my door. Anyway, to the main point. Here's our window motor. I've got a new one. I just want to make sure it's the right one. Again, it's a Mopar only part that I could find. And that is 6814-3989-AA-001. It was made this year, so that's cool. I don't know if it'll match this part number only because it has, you know, it's probably just rebranded. So let me take a look at this, make sure it looks right. Guess I should have opened it when I got it. Sometimes I buy Dorman and stuff for this, but I could not find Dorman. It saved my life. Let's see. That looks pretty close, same brand. 402, 483. Yeah, it's the same number, but this is an E. It's probably a newer version because that's what they do. Looks like it comes with new screws as well. So guys, what I promised you is that I would tell you how to test this. So I'm actually going to show you how we're going to confirm that this is getting power, because you know, you may be coming in here and replacing a motor, but the motor's not actually bad. So let me show you how I would test it. First thing that we're going to want to do is make sure we plug our switch back in. This is often needed to complete the circuit. And then I'm going to put the key to the run position, and we're going to make some noise over here. Subwoofers are going to kick on. All right, so I don't know for mine if you can hear that. You can actually hear this trying to kick on. I can kind of feel it. But nothing. Now I can get a test light. So when I unplug this, it doesn't make that noise, but when I plug it back in, this thing is trying to work, but it's just probably shorted out.
Shorted out.
So we know we're getting power to the motor, and it's not working. All right, so that's what I'm just trying to establish. Right now, I only hear this click. I plug this in, I can hear this and feel it trying to actuate, and it's just not working. So our motor's probably fried in here, it's just not gonna work. So I'm gonna replace it. Feel free to just troubleshoot your way, because this is almost $100 for this part. I honestly would have never cared if it wasn't for the part I'm trying to put in. So let me check what size it's gonna be. I am gonna guess a T15. That's what it was on the, no, T15, T20? No, that's, oh, these must be mixed up. What size is this one? That's a T8, that's not great. These are all mixed up. So this is a T20. These are mixed up, so that's why I'm like, T25, all right. I thought it was a T25, and then that didn't fit. All right, so I'm gonna pull this off. You can see I already unplugged it. Comes with new screws, not that you should really need it, but I'll put them on. Again, it's a T25 Torx bit, okay? So it's the star pattern. I picked up this Lexavon set on Amazon for like 15 bucks. Be surprised how often it comes in handy.
$15 for that set?
Yeah, it's really cheap, but I mean, this isn't like an impact set. All right, so this should just pop off now. Might be a little stuck because it does go into the regulator. See, this motor spins your regulator assembly. So let's see if it works when it's not in there. Yeah, ooh, it does move. I wonder if it just doesn't have any oomph. Ooh, maybe the window is seized. That would suck. That would really
suck.
What would that
be like? Why would it seize that?
I don't know. Let me test this one in there. I mean, I guess the regulator.
Put it in there and hold it there, right?
Yeah. Let me test it as like an off-camera thing.
Want me to turn you off, turn you back on?
Okay.
Oh no, it's good.
So let's go back a hair. It's the motor. The motor's shot.
Yeah, this thing got nothing.
Yeah. So guys, here's my old motor. I don't know if I cut out the part I was showing you. I was a little concerned. I pulled the motor out, and look, it's working. But it's making a bad noise. And I actually have had problems with this and heard this motor since new. So it's making, oh, there it is. You hear that?
That don't sound good at all.
Does not sound good, and it wasn't moving the window. I bet it will now. But I think we hit a dead spot on this, and it wasn't able to open it. So now it is. I may keep it as a spare, but it's making a bad noise. So let me compare that to the new one.
That sounds
night and day difference. Yeah, this sounds good. Something is wrong with that one. It hit a dead spot, I guess, in the motor. It's working again right now, but it was not working as we saw earlier. So I'm pretty confident this thing's bad. That one's bad. I'm gonna put a new one in. It's a little tricky to line up. You may even have to like turn it a few times to get it to work. There we go. So that is there. It came with new screws, so I will use them just in case maybe there's some reason they do that. I guess, Kevin, you're still getting a good image here.
Oh no, it's awful. I mean,
Awful, oh
right
gosh.
at the ground the whole time.
I was a little concerned when it started working. I was like, what? But that thing's making a terrible noise.
It's strange, it just started working.
Well,
I wonder if it got teeth ate up in there. It runs on teeth, ain't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's got, you know, there's teeth in there, but this one worked fine. It is making a bad noise. All right, guys, you're going into plastic here, so don't go crazy. I don't know if there is a Torx spec on this, but it's just plastic. So once it's snug, it's snug, okay? Don't go crazy or you'll be ripping this whole entire assembly out. If you have to replace the regulator, it's actually this entire piece. And it's over $100 for just this.
See, that's not cheap.
That's not even a motor. That's just a regulator and this whole plastic piece because they like to make stuff complicated and expensive. Okay. So that feels good. I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna go down. See, that sounds good. All right. That's a good Mopar part. So I'm gonna pull it back off and I just wanna hear this one more time. It just sounds so bad. Yeah, hopefully the camera picks up that high-pitched whine.
I think you can hear it. And that's the old motor. I don't know.
It just started working again. It must have had a dead spot. I was smacking it, but... All right, so when you put this wire back on, guys, and it clips, make sure you put your finger in the back and pop that lock out. That way it can't come loose in the door. All right, so I'm gonna pop this back off and we're gonna start putting our door back together. So we'll start working through it, but make sure you test your motor first. Don't just try to rely on the front window motor without putting this in. I tell you this because a lot of times I've seen where you have to complete the circuit. But you know what, I got a working window now, so I am happy. Let's get it put back together. Okay. So, is this part of the window or is this? That's part of that, okay. Alrighty, so I don't know, Kevin, what's gonna be best for you. Alright, so let's start with the door handle part. We're gonna slide it back in like I had mentioned. And pop that in. I'll get on this side. It's so hard because you don't got much clearance. We are going to plug this back in. We are going to plug this back in. It went behind here and faced out. It just kind of locked into the plastic, which was crude at best, but maybe it's gonna go in the back first. Whoa. Sorry, Kevin, you're just gonna have to bear with me here.
Oh man, take your time. I ain't no rush. You only got 4% left though.
Really?
That's what it says.
There we go. That's in there. Put this back in. And what are we missing? Gotcha, gotcha. That goes into some clips here to hold it. It has slack. Okay. And the last thing is we need to make sure that as we're pulling this up, the window motor's lined up. All right, so let's move it above. Get your door lock in there. Oh, it's gonna be tricky. Hey guys, sorry, our camera died. Let me do a quick recap in case it cut out. I've got everything plugged back in. The only thing that I have to do is fish the switch wire through there. Everything's wired back in and clipped in where it needs to be. Technically that one will get clipped in right there when I get closer. But I'm gonna give this to Kevin and I'm gonna keep lining this up. Essentially, you have to bring it up in the air, line up the lock actuator, and then bring it down completely on here. So it's a little tricky. Here, okay, I'm grab that because it's gonna be a pain in the butt. It's not taking it off, that's the hard part. It's putting it back on.
That's what me and Brad always say too. Taking stuff apart is easy. Putting it back together is the hard part.
Okay, there we go. Just gotta make sure I fish that through there. That was what I didn't do last time. Let me go compare it to the other side, make sure I'm not like off a lip.
She looks good on the camera.
Yeah, that's not bad. Oh, it's the same, okay.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, see that? It does get tucked back in there. I just checking. Always compare. Just, I don't often see them like that.
Them black tail lights, man, they look nice. So that just gets tucked in there, though.
Yeah, it just gets tucked in. Yeah, that's what I was fighting with. So for some reason they have these things a little longer to tuck into the corner. So my best suggestion for getting this on there is starting with this corner, getting that lined up, and then working your way down to the actuator. That worked best for me. And just take a look at your pins on this side as you're doing it to make sure they're lining up. And it lined up pretty good. As always, make sure all your lighting is still there. I can see my light's good there, my light's good there. Everything went together good. And then you just pop it all in. You'll hear a bunch of pops and whatnot. Look at that. Never even used that safety lock. All right, now we're at the point where I want to test the window again. And I want to test my door locks to make sure that I didn't pinch anything in here. So do this before you complete everything. So I don't know why it won't lock for me.
Keys in the ignition.
Is it because the door's open?
Because the keys in the ignition.
Now close the door, let's see. Let me just make sure. Okay, that's why.
That's weird.
So, for testing, the car will not lock the doors if the doors are open for some reason. So, anyway, so back up a little bit, Kev, and I'm just gonna, last thing is, put your two Phillips head screws back in, put the plastic covers back on, and we're good to go. I've tested the lock and unlock, I've tested my window motor. It's now functional. Let me get this film back together, and then I'm gonna put this piece back on there so that all my windows match.
But you couldn't get the window to go down, is that why it's not?
Correct, I couldn't get the window to go down. So that was the problem I was having. And, all right, something I noticed when I took it off is there's a long screw and a short screw. The short screw was for the top, the long screw was for down here. So if you're not sure, the long screw was for the more bottom screw right here. And the small screw went in there. Everything looks like it's lining up fine, so I don't really have any worries. All right, guys, thanks for following along. This is the end of our video. I was able to get my visor piece in. I've tested, the lock works, the up and down is working. I just turned the car off, so it's not gonna work now. I've got my Phillips head screws back in with the covers back on there. If you look from the side, you can see it's all popped in nice. Feels solid, everything is good. So hopefully this helped you out. I just wanna remind you, I did just the motor, not the regulator assembly. That you guys may need to do that, but that's if like a cable breaks. Generally for a regulator, if you need replacement, you can hear the motor just whining and moving. It's if the window's not going up and down or the window fell down. That generally means the cable broke or the plastic snapped, and that's a little bit more work. So anyway, guys, thanks for following along. If this was helpful, be sure to like, subscribe. My name's Justin, this is Just Fixing Garage, and this is just another, unfortunately, working on Mopars and spending money on stuff that should have never broke. So have a good one. Peace.